Hello and welcome back to the chart pattern trading masterclass by Wealthy Education. In this video, we're taking a look at mastering the bull pennant pattern. So a bull, meaning bullish, meaning positive, pennant pattern occurs in an uptrend, the market rallying, and then you run into a little bit of consolidation with a couple of trend lines, suggesting that in the midst of a run higher, you get some sideways action that is tightening and tightening. And once you break above the top of the pennant, and you can see it looks like a pennant, it continues the upward pressure. Now, the nice thing about this is that you can use the built-in measuring stick. So, for example, if the pull of the pennant, the initial run higher before you get the consolidation, let's just say it is $12. Well, on a breakout above the pennant, you should get $12. You put your stop loss on the other side of the pennant and you take it from there. So let's take a look at a couple of examples. Here in Netflix, you can make an argument for a pennant here. So we broke above the top of the pennant and we did get our target. Now it pulled back, it took a little bit. Interestingly enough, in this example, notice that it also, once it broke through this, it actually became a W pattern or a double bottom. So kind of an interesting look there. Go ahead and take a look at Forex. Euro Japanese yen. We have that bullish pennant. Notice that we pulled back to the 120 level, and 120, of course, is a large round number. A lot of times these numbers attract a certain amount of attention. You can also open up the 50-day EMA and you can see that we bounced from there. So the question is did we get our target? Well, we did. It took a while, but we did in fact get it. We almost got there right after the initial breakout, but you can see that if you put your stop loss underneath the pennant, you were never in any real serious trouble of getting stopped out. And finally, let's do crypto and let's do something. Let's do near protocol. Okay, so here is a pretty messy pennant, but it is a pennant. You could, I suppose, look at it through the prism of although I don't like that as much, truth be told. So, you've had that run. So you get this pull here. And notice that you did hit it eventually. Again, very choppy. Crypto tends to be very technically driven like this, but it also is extraordinarily volatile. So you also have to keep that in mind as well. So let me drop down to like the hourly chart in Solana and get back to where, there we go, right there. So a little bit of a pennant right here. Nice flagpole, right? Break above the top of it, and you go directly there a few hours later. You're using the 50 EMA. And it should be noted that when you broke out of that pennant, you're right at the $40 level. So that attracts a certain amount of attention. You're in a kind of a consolidation grinding area here in the middle of an uptrend, a very choppy and noisy one, admittedly, but definitely a big move higher. So you can see these are pretty neat patterns. They're pretty straightforward. The idea, the psychology is that the market's going higher, right? And then you get this kind of consolidation, and eventually people who wanted to get involved here, once they see momentum, will jump in. So it's a matter of kind of working off some of the gains, working off the froth, if you will, after the initial move higher, and then having another reason to get in. And when people, say you're down here and you're watching this market do this and you see it consolidate and it takes off again, well, you want to join because you see that it's in an uptrend. And that's kind of what's going on here. Again, don't forget you have this nice measuring stick. So, if this is $12, this should be $12, et cetera, et cetera. So in the next video, we're going to actually take a look at something that's almost identical. It's called a bullish flag. It's almost an identical pattern, but instead of a triangle here and tightening consolidation, it's a little looser. It's also a little bit more common, at least for my observations.